Well, we are back on the road heading towards our next adventure, and this time we're in northern Arizona near the border, definitely like the northeastern border by the town of Chinle. And we're going to be exploring around that town, most notably Canyon de Chelly. And there's going to be a lot of fantastic side stops as this adventure unfolds. So our first stop is actually on the way into Chinle, a little area of Badlands called Nazlini. And from the Google Earth images I've seen, it looks incredible. So I can't wait to get over here and explore a little bit, because it's just a few more miles down the road. And our final destination today, we're going to end up at Canyon de Chelly, exploring the amazing canyon and all the things that come with that. So let's hit the road. Well, we have arrived here in the Nazlini Badland area I had mentioned. Look at these beautiful hills with these lovely striations. It reminds me a lot of the Bentonite Hills we recently visited in southern Utah. But this area has some slightly different colors within the layers. So I think what we're going to do is hike up here. But before we do that, I want to get the drone up in the air, because it really is the best way to get a great perspective on this location and find some interesting compositions before we head out hiking just kind of mindlessly. All around this area, I'm finding pieces of this incredible petrified wood. Look at the grain and texture, that's incredible. But as always, make sure you leave it where you found it. I always enjoy photographing these badland areas because there's so much opportunity for using leading lines and having incredible foreground subjects like cracked mud and other interesting detail shots. I love it. As we arrived at the entrance to Canyon de Chelly, we had to check out the Welcome Center. So we checked out the visitor center and it was incredible. I highly recommend you watch the 20-some odd minute movie called Canyon Voices. It really sheds light on the history and the people of this canyon, but I gotta tell you, it's been 7, possibly even 8 years since I visited Canyon de Chelly, and I was early in my photography journey, and today the weather, these clouds, the incredible canyon, lush down there below with beautiful fresh leaves of the springtime. and some lovely flowing water. That's it. I mean, that's all you need to get great photos. I have a feeling that a lot of these images might just start look the same, but I'm going to do my best to find some different compositions and really find some unique compositions to go with these massive canyons and massive walls, because I think some detail images of this desert varnish, as well as getting the telephoto out to really zoom in on some of these ruins from these overlooks. It's going to be great. About 100 yards from the first lookout point, I came along the cliff edge and found this nice, beautiful bend in the river. And I think it's gonna make for a fantastic image. The only problem is you can see my shadow down here in the foreground. The reason that's a problem is I want to frame up this beautiful sandstone cliff edge with the arc of the river as it bends through this frame. So it's going to be a matter of timing it just right. Hopefully a small cloud, actually might be happening right now. That cloud covering the sun blocks out my shadow and I can get this image. Incredible. Check this image out. I'm pretty excited about this one. It's kind of like a bigger, wider, more colorful horseshoe bend. Well, day one of this northeastern Arizona road trip is going incredibly well. The first two stops today have been very fruitful. I'm really happy with the camera, or the images on the back of the camera, excuse me. And the plan is to head along Canyon de Chelly along the southern end and check out all the different overlooks along the way, ultimately reaching our final destination, which will be Spider Rock. I am very excited about that location. I didn't get a chance to see it the last time I came through, so it's going to be incredible. I have a feeling. So let's get after it. The overlook and trail for White House Ruins was closed. So I'm at the second to last stop today. It's called Face Rock. It's just an overlook. And I've been scanning these walls back here for probably 10 minutes, looking through each of these eye ports to guide you, and I still can't identify what it is. It must be a time of day thing. So unfortunately, I'll put a clip of the canyon and a just nice sweeping shot, and maybe you can identify it. Leave me a comment below with a time link if you stumble across it. I'm at a loss right now. Well, it's been a long and rewarding day, and we finally arrived at the insane Spider Rock. It is so impressive. You know, the pictures you see, they obviously do it justice because this place is so special on its own, but putting your eyes on it and seeing the scale is just almost breathtaking, because obviously, as we've learned on every stop today, it is complete sheer cliffs, instant death at any location here. So I've kind of set myself back here. I'm just down on this little ledge with these beautiful rocks down below here, these white rocks, and they make for this nice little V shape that the Spider Rock is setting in between. And the clouds today, as you can see up there, are incredible. Things are going incredibly well. It's another probably good hour until sundown, but there's plenty of time to get great photos here. So really it's just about scouting some photographs and getting ready for that magic hour. But let me show you this image here because it truly is a great start to this incredible location. Here it is. Well, a slight change of plans. While at Spider Rock, I was talking with a local who recommended an incredible location called Hope Arch. Now, I didn't see this on my research as I was planning to visit this place. So he mentioned it was probably about an hour's drive from where I'm at. So we're headed back into Chinle. We got to gas up the Jeep, and then hopefully I can get cell reception enough to find this arch. But he did give me kind of some basic directions, so I should be able to find it regardless of getting some maps. But we'll do both, and hopefully we're going to find that in this second part here. So day one has turned into part one of this trip, and the next video will continue with part number two, hopefully at Hope Arch. Well, part two of this northeastern road trip is on. As usual, we're hitting the road to our next destination. And after stopping at Chinle to get some cell service, I acquired some better directions to supplement what the local had given me. And we're headed to Hope Arch. So we just got to hit the road and drive a few more miles, and we're going to be down there. It's going to be incredible. I'm on the road to Hope Arch. I've had to stop because on the way to Hope Arch are these incredible red rocks with these beautiful downed red rocks in the foreground. There's a massive one just off to this side as well. And right now it's beginning to get to sunset. So the colors and the light are really popping off. And something about these rocks are getting me really excited. So I've been working a few compositions here and there, and then just kind of waiting to see as that light changes. So I've got 40 minutes until sundown officially, and I've still got probably another 15-minute drive to get over to the arch. So we got to scramble here. I do have a great composition lined up right now with these beautiful red rocks in the foreground with these kind of jagged leading lines, and then that massive stone monument in the background with this beautifully soft lit blue sky and just kind of this low kind of soft light ambiance for the entire image. So man, I'm excited. Hope I wasn't talking too fast because I really am jacked right now. This is the kind of stuff that really does excite me in terms of photography, something different. You know, the arch is clearly well known. I saw a lot of pictures as I was looking for directions, but didn't see much of this. This is great. This is really great. Well, we have arrived at the Hope Arch. It's spectacular, but as the sun is starting to set, it's not great light. So best part about that though is I can scout around tonight, and then guaranteed sunrise tomorrow is going to be incredible, but from the other side of the arch. So tonight we'll scout around, tomorrow we get the banger. has been a hell of a day, but I'm actually back here at the Red Rocks area that I started with this part 2, because it's really flat here and it's really peaceful because I've got this giant wall over here providing a nice windbreak, and then where I had planned to camp by Cassidy Arch, it's just not flat enough. So perfect if this was just a little bit further down the road. So time for some dinner. I've got chicken salad that I made up, and I'm looking forward to that, but it's getting late. Local time is 8:30, and yeah, we're gonna have some dinner, maybe look at some photos, but just kind of thinking about the arch. I gotta be honest, that drone is going through the middle. That is the plan tomorrow. I think we got plenty of room. I have had issues in the past where I've tried to fly too close to different objects. This is actually drone number 2. So the first one was not quite as successful doing some of that stuff. So let's see what happens tomorrow. Drone is going through that arch and we're going to make it happen. So it's going to be a good morning. Let's finish this day out and hit it hard in the morning. Well, it is the next morning and it's going particularly well, aside from there being really no clouds in the sky, but the color of the light reflected off of this arch on the eastern side is incredible. You see here there's still a little bit left for it to come all the way down and get this sheer cliff face in light. But what we did this morning was I did a fly through. It went well. We're going to do a second fly through, if you will, once it's fully illuminated. And then I did an aerial time lapse of the sun crawling down this arch. So I hope that turns out really well as also. Otherwise, good start to today. The arch itself is pretty spectacular. Both sides, you can easily kind of crawl up and get inside if you want to get some of those classic shots of you inside the arch. Always a rare treat for your photo album. But we're going to continue to explore around here, and then you'll see in some of the drone footage there's some distant mountains to the west. We're going to go check out a real nice spire and some other massive cliff faces that we're going to go check out once we get done here. So morning's going well. Check that out. That's incredible. That is a massive hole in essentially kind of the top of this massive mesa. I'm not quite sure where you draw the line between a hole and an arch, but I have seen features like this before. Oftentimes they're called Devil's Hole or Heaven's Window, but that is cool. It's got to be, if I'm guessing, maybe 30 feet across. So it's pretty big, but I'm up here on this big sand dune, and you might even hear a slight echo because it's in kind of a cove, but that is so cool. I'm gonna get some interesting pictures of this. I really like that desert varnish, that black streak that comes down that would be present when water was flowing. So really digging that. So let's fire off a few shots and see what we can get of this incredible formation. an incredible adventure we've had here on part 2 of this northeastern Arizona adventure, because we've seen such amazing sights all around this area near Chinle, and it's been incredible. So part 3 of this incredible northeastern Arizona adventure continues. Today we head into a new region of incredible rock formations and just local beauty. Currently the weather is not great. Very, very blue skies this morning, as well as light winds. So the forecast is showing cloud to move in, and I'm really keeping an eye on that because 1, I want clouds, but 2, I don't want it to start raining. Rain in this particular part of northern Arizona is not a good thing. It can be incredibly devastating, especially with flash flooding. And the landscape here, it's a very fine sand that can turn into clay very quickly, leaving you stranded in these back roads. So we're going to keep an eye on that, but we've got some incredible stops along the way. More buttes, more spires, more arches, and the like. So let's get after it. Well, our first stop happened pretty quickly. Look at this up here. It's not a single, it's a double arch. There is a massive column separating a larger and then a smaller. It's incredible. And then look at these pristine dunes back here. This is going to be a fantastic location. Let's get the camera out. Incredible. These dunes are really, really pristine. There is some miscellaneous debris, sticks and twigs and that kind of thing, but in general, the ripples are very well preserved. I only really have one tip or one rule that I follow whenever I'm photographing sand dunes is work your way in. If you haven't taken photographs from back away, take those first, because your footprints are going to be everywhere, especially as you're finding different compositions. Ultimately, I want to work my way up to the top of this sand dune because there's some incredible ripples up there that I think will make for a great kind of juxtaposition between the red rocks and this kind of more gray muted sand. So far we're getting some incredible shots, and as we go along, I'll show you some of those images and hopefully inspire you to get out to places like this. Next up though, we're gonna launch that drone because I want to get a better look at that double arch up there. It's gonna be incredible. There's these beautiful grasses down below here, and I think it makes for a great juxtaposition between lush greenery and that dry desert. Such an incredible place. I can't quite tell because they're in shadow, but I think there's some Indian ruins. right up there. Well, I'll be darned. Let's check them out. I cannot tell you how many times I have found incredible things on this trip just by looking around as I'm driving down the road and taking it slow down these roads. Like, there's no rush. The beauty of the scenery is just everywhere. And I happened to spot some of these ancient Indian dwellings, and this is pretty awesome because I'm like 50 yards away. You can't really get this close to Indian ruins in a lot of places, especially in part one with Canyon de Chelly, unless you get a relatively expensive guide to go through the canyon. Then you get a little bit closer up and a little bit more access, but I like to kind of just do things on the free. I think free spaces are a good thing. But yeah, right now the ruins themselves are in shadow. That's why I have the tripod out, so I can get some nice crisp images. And there looks to be quite a few structures in terms of walls and facades, if you will. But what's really cool is, I'm not quite sure if you would call that desert varnish because it's not black, it's not kind of that soot color. But there are these nice vertical lines of lighter color sandstone mixed in with the red sandstone that I think make for, again, great leading lines and kind of tell the story of this image. And I'm trying a couple of compositions, you know, wider to show a bigger scene, but then the ruins become that much smaller. So I'm also trying some zoomed in shots just to see what works and what I'm really excited about. But I have to tell you, the most exciting feature, I'm not a rock climber, but if you were so inclined, you could probably scramble up there. There's this nice little S-shaped gouge, little crevasse, that you could probably stick an arm or two in there and climb up in there and really explore if you wanted to. But that's not something I really enjoy as far as rock climbing, but I also don't want to disturb these places either. I want them to be around for a long time so future generations can enjoy them as well. So let's fire off a couple of shots. Next though, I'm going to focus on this beautiful kind of desert varnish is what I'm calling it, with this light and red sandstone with these streaks. I think it'll make for some very nice detail images as well. Look at these insane washes. It would be amazing to see a flash flood through here, but incredibly dangerous. So we're going to keep an eye on these clouds. They are moving in quick. Sure enough, we got more Indian ruins. That one is really beautiful. Look at the way the alcove is. Gorgeous. Oh, that is so impressive. Look at the lines and how they like curve around it. That is so beautiful. Wow. I mean, at first I was thinking, you know, lucky day because I found the one set of Indian ruins, but now that I've seen this place, I'm starting to think that this area is just very rich in history, because almost every alcove, I'm really scanning it because I'm like, is there any, you know, vertical lines, something that would tell me that there's man-made structures in there? So really cool. This one, I am going to go up and take a look because it's real special and I want to get a picture looking out. It's going to be marvelous. As we made our way to the backside here of the double arch, these incredible clouds have started to move in, which is obviously a blessing and a curse, but the light is popping off because of the intermittent clouds and the sun poking through. We're getting some incredible images. Wow, out of nowhere that wind kicked up and it is just dusty. Like you can barely even breathe, you can barely even stand out there. And it's funny to think because I was worried about flash floods and rain more than anything, but I didn't realize the temperature change and the swing would bring such a crazy amount of wind. So I think that's going to be us wrapping up the third part here of the northeastern Arizona road trip. And I got to tell you, I'm thrilled about all the different places we got to explore on this adventure. I hope you've been inspired as well. We'll see you on that next adventure.